Hey everybody and welcome to KM Reviews. I am Niddleman. This time I'm bringing you the review for Season 1, Episode 4 of Westworld. And just a warning, this does have some minor spoilers in there, so if you have not seen the episode yet, make sure you go watch it and then come back and watch this. Or if you don't care, then just whatever, here we go. So as far as the maze and the map, we have two characters on that path now. We have Dolores and we have Ed Harris. As far as Ed Harris goes, he kind of explains a little bit more this episode as he talks about Arnold, who as we know is Anthony Hopkins' partner back in the day before he died, who apparently designed this maze supposedly to lead to like another level where maybe you could possibly die. As we've seen Ed Harris, he's kind of gotten bored of this world. He already knows almost every storyline. He knows everything about it. He feels like it's not fun anymore because he knows he can't die. He apparently thinks that this maze will somehow lead it to a revolution of how this world works and possibly will lead to a world where you can actually get shot and die. But we're not really sure. I think that's what his assumption is, but even he doesn't really know, and that's why he's trying to figure it out. But we also have Dolores, who is on this path, who is set on this path by Bernard. She's talking to him, she is having some feelings that weren't really programmed into her, and he is very intrigued by this. He's almost like the Arnold guy, is that we know Arnold was trying to create a self-aware being, trying to create AI, and Bernard almost seems like he's doing the same thing, as he's not reprogramming her and setting her back doing the same thing. He's trying to get more in depth with this, and so again, he sets her on the path of this maze. What that means, we don't really know yet, but it is really interesting. We also get some major religious tones in this when we're talking about Thandie Newton's character, who's having these visions of the people in like the hazmat suit things, like fixing them after they're dead and stuff. Because as we know in an earlier episode, she had this huge awakening in the outside world, and this has really messed with her character, and she's starting to realize what this world is, and she's seeing the religious tones throughout the other characters who have also experienced this apparently, because they have little toys of them. She has tons of drawings of this, like she's had these visions before, and it's obvious that in this episode that many of the characters have had these visions or these awakenings of some kind, and they all affect them a little bit differently, but it's kind of turned to a religion within all of these robots, of like the puppeteers, so to speak, and that is really interesting, and I really liked that aspect. Also in this episode, we find out a lot more about Anthony Hopkins' character. The biggest thing is that he has a big, obvious case of a god complex, and rightly so. I mean, he basically is a god in this world. We've seen him kind of control snakes before, and he's really intimidating the businesswoman in this episode when he's basically controlling all the beings, freezing them in time. He has these big machinery things that he knows everything about her, everyone that he works with. He basically is like God in this world. He knows everything and he can control everything. But what does that do to his psyche? I'm not really sure. There's something weird hidden in his past with Arnold. He keeps talking about how Arnold went crazy. I have a really big feeling that Anthony Hopkins killed Arnold. I think Arnold probably realized Anthony Hopkins was getting this god complex, and I don't know, this is getting into theories now, so screw it, we'll get into theories. My theory is Anthony Hopkins killed Arnold when Arnold thought Anthony Hopkins was getting too power hungry. I think he's developing this new world, but I don't really know what for yet. I think he's going to have like a level 2 where you can pay to go there, but you can actually get shot and die. My other theory is that this entire theme park has nothing to do with being a theme park. I think they use that as a cover, but really what they're trying to do is create AI, and they're using these guests that come and pay them money as their funding for it, because obviously your funding has to come from somewhere, and these people pay a fuck ton of money to go there. And I think when they see these robots starting to develop that AI, they set them on the course of this maze. And when they go on this maze, if they're able to figure it out, it probably is some sort of test for them that they have to have AI in order to complete it. Which also brings me to the theory that possibly, as I've mentioned in other episodes, I still think Ed Harris is a robot. I think he was set on the path of this maze 30 years ago. He was one of the first robots ever to become self-aware. And when he talks in this episode about how you can't die, he's not talking about being a human that can't die. He's talking about being a robot that he gets shot, killed multiple times, but he always comes back. It's like you can't really die. So again, that's my theories for this episode. What are your theories? What did you guys think about this episode? Let me know and comment below. Also remember, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much everything at Niddleman. And stay tuned for more reviews if you can handle it. Go.